This is Friday Night Metal and the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. Welcome. This is where we celebrate kick-ass women redefining heavy music, not just with power, but with purpose. Today's guest comes from a band that refuses to sit quietly inside any box. Since forming in 2011, Svalbard have carved out a sound that pulls from black metal, hardcore, shoegaze, post-rock, post-metal, and yet somehow they still sound unmistakably like Svalbard. Unique doesn't even begin to cover it. Beyond the crushing riffs and dynamic atmospheres, Svalbard stand apart for something even heavier, their unflinching honesty around mental health, too. And their music doesn't just face the darkness, it challenges it head on. And joining us today is Serena Cherry, the lead vocalist and guitarist, whose voice, both literal and lyrical, has become one of the most vital in modern heavy music. Serena, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here, and I'm so glad to have you because I'm sure a lot of you have read the news about Svalbard. This is the last time around for them this year. They've got a bunch of shows left and some festivals too, but this will be it for this band. So it's great to have you on here before you guys disband. Um, so let me start there. How is it feeling right now? I know you have what till August when you wrap up in the UK with some shows when it will finally wrap up. But how is it feeling, with the end coming?
It feels kind of surreal, to be honest with you. It's, not something you sort of expect to be going through after, 15, 16 years as a band. It's sort of, I'm still processing it, to be honest with you. And in a lot of ways, it feels like a celebration. We did our final UK tour in November, and just the atmosphere and the kind of appreciation from the crowd was overwhelming. And it just feels like we're a firm believer as a band in going out on a high. We've done 4 albums that we're incredibly proud of,
Mhm.
and we're all still friends and everything. So it feels like the right time for us to sort of go our separate ways, I think. And yeah, just kind of looking forward to one final year and celebrating with as many fans as we can around the world before we finish up.
Yeah, we'll mention some remaining tour dates before we wrap up here. You released a single, your final single, back in November, If We Could Still Be Saved. What's the story behind that song?
It's a breakup song.
Mm.
So it is kind of it's not just about the band breaking up, it also kind of mirrors romantic relationships ending as well. So it's more just a kind of an ode to endings in general. But yeah, it's about kind of it's a song of two halves where it starts with that kind of disbelief and maybe a little frustration at the concept of something you've poured so much time and effort and love into ending. But then by the time you get the second verse, there's like an acceptance. It's almost like the five stages of grief, this
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
By the second verse, you hit the sort of acceptance and the kind of appreciation of the beauty of the memories, and just sort of celebrating the experiences that you have shared. So it's a very sentimental song, but I feel like it was a nice way for us to end.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys have been reminiscing and thinking about all the years now, what, 15, 16 years, and how quick it went by, probably. In those early years, those do-it-yourself shows, the EPs, grinding it out, really shaped Svalbard's identity. How important was that do-it-yourself foundation in giving you the freedom to become the band you are now as it's coming to an end?
We learned so much from
Mm.
doing everything ourselves. I would say I would recommend it to any band. Just have like 3, 4 years where you're as independent and as free as possible, booking, DIY shows, sleeping on floors,
Mhm.
driving yourself, doing everything yourself, artwork, merch designs, just having it all fully within your artistic control. I think that's where you really carve out your identity as a band, and that's where you really kind. It's a bit of a test, I think, doing
Yeah.
those. long tours where you're sort of it's DIY and everything's a little more unpredictable. You don't know where you're going to be sleeping that night, that kind of thing. And it really, yeah, lifelong friendships are forged on those kind of tours.
Mm. Svalbard's music doesn't shy away from mental illness. It names it, it sits with it, and challenges it too. I'm going to ask you about a song here. When you were writing "When I Die, Will I Get Better," did you have any sense of how deeply it would resonate with listeners who were struggling in similar ways?
I'm quite a selfish writer lyrically, and everything is just kind of it's describing what I'm going through at the time. So after we released that album, and a lot of fans and people came up to me and told me what the songs meant to them and how it really helped them get through a dark time. And to me, that kind of felt like taking something really awful that I had experienced, turning it into something creative that can sort of sit with other people when they're going through a difficult time. So it's kind of transformative to be able to take painful times and be able to then share them through art with other people that they can connect with. I mean, I know for me personally, when I've gone through difficult times, it's been music and lyrics that have pulled me through. So to be able to have created something that has that effect is, well, it's kind of, it gives meaning and purpose to your life, really. It's really moving whenever anyone says to me that one of our songs or some of my lyrics has really helped them. It just gives a whole new meaning to the song for me.
Do you feel and have felt a sense of responsibility knowing that your music is a lifeline for some of the listeners and fans? Or do you try to just be honest and let people take what they need?
I think it's important to not kind of worry too much about being perceived and kind of fan expectations or what people want from you as a creative person, because then you end up sort of writing to requirement and putting too much pressure on yourself. So as much as like hearing what the lyrics and the songs mean to other people, I tried not to interpret that as pressure and tried not to interpret that as, okay, on the next album, I've got to kind of go deeper or I've got to, stick with the same themes. I think it sounds cliche, but the most meaningful art is the one that comes from the heart and is authentic and true to yourself. So after the kind of success of When I Die Will I Get Better, when it came to writing the fourth album, The Weight of the Mask, once again, I sort of took a little bit of a selfish approach in that I just wrote about what I was going through. I wrote about, things that were really affecting me. I have an app on my phone. It's just a sad notes app, and I write in it every day, all just little lines, little thoughts, and stuff like that, and culminate them together into themes and then fit them to songs. There's also a lot of references in my songs to other people's songs that have got me through dark times. So, for example, Svalbard have a song called Lights Out, and that is based on like the inspiration for that title came from a band called Antimatter who have an EP called Lights Out and stuff like that. So it's kind of everything is a reference to things that have helped me as well. But yeah, to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's important to kind of just stay true to yourself and write about what you're going through rather than kind of try and adapt according to feedback that you've had from fans, because you don't want to be Slayer churning out the same thing every, 4 years.
Serena, how big was music in your house growing up?
Oh my gosh, I mean, music was the biggest form of entertainment and bonding when I was growing up. My mum had the piano, and that was kind of our evening entertainment. We'd all sit around. I started playing piano aged 4, so from a really, really young age. And we'd all sit around, and my mum would play Queen songs on the piano, and we'd sing
Mm.
along. Or I remember when we'd be doing chores to make the chores more fun, she would allow us to pick records from her massive, my mum's got a huge record collection, pick out a record each to listen to while we did our chores and stuff like that. So music was, yeah, we didn't spend so much time sat in front of the TV. It was always kind of music, sitting around the piano or playing later for me, when I started teaching myself guitar, I'd just be up in my room playing guitar and just, yeah, listening to music together was a huge bonding point. My mum is a massive music fan and my sister too. So it's always been the kind of the baseline of my life in a way.
Did you grow up in a small town or in London?
Oh, I grew up in a relatively small city called Bristol. It's not that small, but I grew up on the outskirts. Svalbard is from the city of Bristol. I just
Yeah.
moved away in 2020, so I now live near London. But yeah, Bristol is it's quite an artsy city, very creative, and that's where everyone else from Svalbard was from. That's how we met.
Yeah. Did you accomplish everything you set out to with this band?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think, that's the greatest thing about, and we had this a lot when we played our final shows in the UK, of people kind of almost treating it like a funeral and sort of hugging me and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry that it's over." And I think, no, don't, like, I'm not sad that it's ending. Uh, I feel like we can leave with our heads held high. And I feel, yeah, sort of, like we really didn't leave any there's no I mean there are certain things I would have loved to do with Svalbard. I would have loved for us to tour the States,
Yeah.
and sadly financially it just wasn't viable with the visa costs. And there are a few other places South America as well. Like there's loads of places I would have loved for us to play live that we didn't. So that's probably my only regret. But in terms of like the music we've written and the adventures we've shared, I feel like I remember having the conversation. I remember having the first conversation. We came back from a very long tour with Alcest. It was 5.5 weeks around Europe. And Liam and I are sort of the founders of Svalbard. So Liam is the plays guitar and does backup vocals as well. And we sort of had this phone call after the tour, and I didn't want to be the first person to say it. And I don't think he wanted to be the first person to say it. But I think we both kind of knew we've sort of done everything now and we're all ready. And another a really clear sign for me that it was the right time for Svalbard to part ways is we were writing new material, thinking we were writing the fifth album. We wrote If We Could Still Be Saved, which
Yeah.
is the final single. And then when it came to writing other songs, we were all pulling in different directions. And I think we all take really different musical inspirations. And we just sort of have reached that point where musically it makes sense for us to like go in different directions now.
And speaking of different directions, of course, the question you've probably been getting asked a lot. What is next for you, Serena Cherry?
It's exciting. There's only so much I can say, so I need to be really careful. I am in the process of finishing my second solo album under the name Noctule. So this is a black metal project that I've had since 2020, where I write albums about video games, and I have just finished doing all the clean vocals. For the second album. So all that's left, all guitars are done, all instrumentation's done, drums are programmed. All that's left to do is the harsh vocals, which will be next week. And then hopefully this year it's going to be released out into the wild. And I have lots of exciting plans for it. And yeah, I can't wait. Sort of even just listening back to the demos of it the other day when I was trying to write vocal patterns, and I thought, oh, I absolutely can't wait for this to be out there.
Is this DIY or are you on the same label that Svalbard was on?
So it's not on Nuclear Blast. At the moment, I'm trying to figure out whether to self-release or whether to go with a label, just kind of exploring options there. The first album was released on Church Road Records and Translation Loss Records, which worked pretty nicely. So could maybe explore options there, but nothing's set in stone in terms of physical release yet. But yeah, just have to kind of weigh up the options, I think.
I knew that you were far from being done and we were going to hear from you again soon. So I just had a feeling. So, well, that's great. Well, that's something to look forward to, but you still have some chances to see the final performances of Svalbard. They've got a bunch of shows if you're in these areas, these countries. They'll be in Japan right in April.
Mhm.
You've got a European tour in May.
Mhm.
And you also have a couple of Canada dates also in May, at the end of May. And then back finally in the UK to wrap it up in August. Is that one or two dates there in the UK or multiple?
Just the one date,
One
we're
date.
playing Art Independent Festival in August in the UK. It's just one show. Same with Canada. It's Prepare the Ground Festival, and we are playing on the Saturday at Prepare the Ground, which is, I guess, probably the closest show for the majority of your listenership.
Yes.
Yeah, excited, very, really excited to play in Toronto.
Yeah. So they've got a bunch of dates left before they wrap it up in August. Svalbard does. And then new music coming, as she just said, Serena Cherry solo. Look for that as well later this fall this year, summer, maybe? Or you can't
Uh,
say yet.
it will be this year. It will be this year. No date is set yet, but
All
yeah.
right. Well, we got some new music coming from you for you too, and check out their last single too, if we could still be saved. They are Svalbard. And one final question, Serena. Did you ever get this far in your dreams when you were growing up?
Absolutely not. I was thinking about this the other day and I thought if I could tell, my 15-year-old self hunched over my little practice guitar, trying to, shred, trying to learn how to play guitar, if I could tell myself that I would be playing some of the biggest metal festivals in Europe, I'd be touring with some of my favorite bands of all time, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So just to be able to reflect on that is incredible, and it does mean so much to me as a huge metal fan to be able to have got this far. It's just, yeah, I'm gonna have a smile on my face for the rest of my life, I think.
Wow, that's great. And by the way, who are some of your favorites that you played with? All-time favorites.
Oh, Enslaved. We got to tour with them. That was absolutely amazing. We played a festival in Norway where Arcturus played, who are one of my all-time favorites. We played Hell. So I'm more of a power metal and black metal fan. And when we played Hellfest, the lineup was crazy. It was like Powerwolf, Beast in Black, and just a load of Twilight Force, like a load of power metal that I love. So that was really special. Porcupine Tree played as well, and I got to
Mm.
meet Stephen Wilson, which was absolutely, I was so starstruck. Yeah, so it's been absolutely the only one we haven't played with who are like all-time favorite band for me would be Symphony X.
Mm.
But I don't see our paths crossing realistically. We sound too different.
Well, you guys had a great run. And thank you, Serena Svalbard. Again, you got some more chances to see him here before they wrap it up in August in the UK. Thank you. And by the way, check out all their music, all their albums, this latest single as well, if we could still be saved. Serena, thank you. Thanks for joining me
Thank you
here
so much.
on the Metal Queens
Thank
podcast. And thank you for watching and for listening. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, write a review. I will talk to you again next time. I'm Steve Richards.